Okay, wonderful. Hi, everyone, and we are live. Welcome to the 2023 Women's International Film Festival. My name is Kayam. I'm here with a few of the cast and crew of a few different short films that we have going on that are available today to stream on our IFF TV platform. Ladies, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, starting with Ioana.
Oh, hi. My name is Ioana Caravella, and I'm the producer of TOMMIES, a short film from the UK, and we're very excited to be part of the festival. Hi.
Wonderful. We're so lucky to have you. Okay, Anita.
Hi, so yes, I'm the writer, co-writer and producer of Desires and Delusions, set in the Regency era as well. And yeah, we're based in the UK. So yeah, it's been really great to be selected for this. It's our first one we've been selected for in terms of a women's festival. So that's been fabulous.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're a very big women's program. We're all about empowering women. We really want to get our numbers up. No more seeing the 7% statistic of us in film, you know? So hopefully having this platform and what we do really boosts those numbers, and it helps us all. It seems that we do have another director here of Overgrown, Kailea. She's currently unavailable. So until I see her come in, let's just get started with the two of you. It's actually funny that I have Desires and Delusions and TOMMIES here. These are both period pieces, and they were wonderful. I mean, my biggest thing when I first saw that we had a period piece come in, I was like, oof, the acting's got to be really good for this to work. And and for some reason, it wasn't even just the acting, the script as well, and everything else seemed to be, I mean, it was great. Oh, okay. Here we go. We have the live chat up. I'm seeing some people are just saying hi. Ioana, right?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about TOMMIES?
Sure. It's so interesting. I just realized Regency, both films are based. Are from love it.
Oh, like, really?
So, yeah. I mean, it's like you can't get more kind of like, you know, destined to be part of this call, I think, Anita. But, so TOMMIES is a film written and directed by Brian Fairbairn and Carl Eccleston, who are long collaborators of mine. And what the film is it's five women in the drawing room are waiting for the carriage to pick them up to take them to the big summer ball. And the secret is about to come out that there is a list of men who are gay and is about to be published on the newspaper the day after. And the protagonist basically more or less, you know, clocks that this information for her husband is known. And it becomes a very uncomfortable, very difficult conversation whilst they're waiting for the carriage of all of this, that is going on. And the women unwittingly almost, if you like, judge, the various women that may have, they are may be married to gay men, and only for all of this to try, to come to life that their friend in the room is one of them. And it's an incredibly, well-researched film where Carl and Brian really kind of, went deep into finding, as much information about the facts, because that is, being a gay man or a gay person in Regency, was a crime. And this was a very delicate subject matter. And the film is trying to negotiate, if you like, how difficult it must have been for everybody to be, from the LGBTQ plus community, and more so as well for the wives of these people, and who they had no other choice, if you like, at the time. So I hope that the complexity of the film really resonates with people.
Yeah, no, I think it was truly a great subject to have brought into, Regency England times, and just to see how that was like dealt with a little bit. And it was almost like everything was a scandal. The lead girl, when she first finds out the information, the reaction and the denial was like she was like, what do you mean? And then the one that was so selfish about the information was just so realistic to how things have dealt with back then, as well as even now, because it seems as if, sorry, we have Kailea is trying to figure out how to get in here. So it seemed as if it just really, really well hit on that topic within a dramatic piece. So I appreciate that. And then I also wanted to ask, where was this?
I'm finding it hard to hear you. I don't know if I'm the only one, Anita. I mean,
your video stopped.
The connection seems to have gone completely for me.
The joys of the internet.
I know, right? Oh,
hello.
Oh, hi. Am I here now?
Kayam has frozen in time.
Oh, no.
Totally frozen in time.
Maybe we can tell her on the chat. I don't know. So can we tell her that?
Iona and Anita, do you both hear and see me now?
Yes.
I'm part of it. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. I was listening to you and then busy trying to figure out on the back end how to, you know, arrive online and as part of the chat. So I guess I'll introduce myself while we're waiting for Kayam's tech to return. But so wonderful to meet both of you and anyone else who's listening. My name is Kylia, and I'm based in Toronto, Canada. And so my film Overgrown is sort of a magical realism, a short about an older woman figuring out how to. Oh, you're back. Kayam.
I had a backup because I don't know how to work my boss's computer, so I have it on mine too. Okay, but I don't know.
And we all managed to be here, so that's, you know, you can see all three of us now. So that's
exactly.
Yes, this is nice. This is nice. I don't know if you got to do a little introduction. Oh my gosh, I'm messing up.
I did. Thank you. I decided to just jump in there while
wonderful. Great. Okay, great. That's what matters. So now I will move on to Anita. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Desires and Delusions?
Well, Desires and Delusions started as a little idea during the pandemic when we were a bit bored, me and my two daughters at home. My eldest daughter, Nicole, who directed the film and co-wrote it, she said, "Oh, Mum, I might try and get into acting if I can." She'd been an extra in Bridgerton. In fact, she's been in all four, is it 4 seasons so far? They're just about finished the last one. So she was seeing things on set, seeing things like being done well and not so well. And I said, and then my youngest, Jasmine, who co-wrote it as well, she's studying history and English at university. So she's a massive Jane Austen fan, George Eliot, Bronte sisters, you know, all of that. She's right. And you know, she's really cool. So I said, why don't we try and write something? I've always been that sort of wannabe writer, and my girls are far more, you know, talented than I am. So I'm on their tail, their talented tail. Yeah, so it came about because I literally bought a little portrait like this of Mr. Darcy from the Jane Austen gift shop in Bath in Somerset, where, you know, Austen spent a lot of her time. And we said, well, we could do like a sort of like a Tinder type thing, you know, where she's swiping left and right on the pictures. So we start off calling it, of course, Pandora's oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. So Pandora. So basically, it's like the box is full of hope for the main character.
Right.
So it's her and her two friends. They're having a picnic. Nicole, who directed it, is in it as well. She literally plays like the really judgmental character that likes, oh, don't be so silly. What on earth are you doing that for? And of course, the main character chooses a guy, literally just looking at him and knowing very little about him and thinks he's going to be wonderful. Because he turns up to the date not looking like his picture. I mean, I have more experience of that than they do. So it's just that. I mean, we did it as a proof of concept. We've literally written like a 5-part miniseries. So we filmed more than what we showed in the film festivals. We weren't going to submit it at all. because we didn't think it would be a thing that film festivals would like. So when we've had quite a lot of success, that's been so cool. So yeah, so it's really cool coming from a little picture of a, you know, of a Regency guy thinking, oh, that could be interesting, and we went from there.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm so glad you did submit, because there's a few of us that watch the films before they're officially chosen, and all of us were like, these period pieces are great, and one of the younger staff and myself were like, this is a play on Tinder, right? Like this is what we're going through. Like it's kind of down to the T. So it was something we all immediately caught on to. We were like, okay, this is good. This is funny without it even having to have a joke. Like this is good. So, and then I saw that you guys had put in the description it was going to be part of a mini series, and I really hope you continue with it, because I think it would be something, you know, that can go really far. I know it's really good. So for myself and a few others, we want to see who she ends up matching with. Don't leave a story unfinished. So it was really great. And I also think, because your daughter is Nicole, yes? And she played
Amelia.
That's what Amelia was spot on, because I was like, this is me in a group of my 3 friends, and someone's always the Amelia of the group.
Of course they are. It was very hot that day. It was like 30 odd degrees Celsius on that in that garden, and particularly the sun was shining in Nicole's eyes. I had massive umbrellas thinking it was going to be raining. We needed them for the sun, and she was struggling, and she was directing as well. So so it was hard for her. So her grumpiness actually it works, because she was actually grumpy as well during that.
No, I totally could tell. It was great though. It played well through her character. It was really great. Okay, so I hope I say this correctly. Kailea,
yes.
Kailea, okay. So Kailea, why don't you tell us a little bit about your somewhat animated short Overgrown? That was really great as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So the inspiration behind Overgrown actually started with a proposal from a vocal music festival who I have a close connection with. I've been singing forever. And they said, you know what, we want to find a way to bridge the vocal music community with the film community. So we're interested in producing films that you have an all vocal music score. So they said, you can do whatever you like, is carte blanche, but can you use that as a driving factor to create a narrative? And so I thought, okay, of course, perfect. This is perfect for me. What I'd love to do is to feature then an older woman protagonist and older women's voices, because I just never see them anywhere. And these are figures who have been so important in my life, but I just feel like the stories are always kind of forgotten and brushed off. And so I created the script around a woman who's being evicted, and as her things are being carried out of her place, it's essentially sort of a ritual that she creates to, you know, secure that sense that she really belonged there, and that all of her objects belong there as well, and then that they're sort of taking care of her. And I really wanted to sink into magical realism as a way to explore those emotions, and so bridge animation and live action, rather than just sort of making it a straight up dramatic piece about what happened. And so we shot the film, and then ended up finding this incredible group of women throat singers. They're from the Tuvan Republic in Russia, and it's the only all-women's group that sings in that tradition. And so they just have such a, if you see the film, it's a very unique sound, you know, and really brings like a rawness and a power to it that I could never have like imagined, I guess, before making the film.
Right. Yeah. No, I actually, I saw that this was the Tuvan singers from, I've never heard of anything like that. So when I heard about it, I went immediately to go research. I was like, what is, and all these male groups popped up. So I was like, oh my gosh, it really isn't, you know, it's a male dominated community per usual. So I was like, it's great that you found a group of all women, like another way to empower us. And that they were able to completely score that. It was really beautiful. Yeah. The first time we watched it, we obviously used our eyes. After reading the description and everything, myself and Yvonne watched it again, but without watching it. And we just put headphones in and we were listening, because we're like, well, we have to give them that, you know, respect too. And we were like so intrigued. I was like, wow, this is like, it's kind of beautiful. I was like, I could go to tears. It was really, an emotional build within their voice. It was really, really well done. The animation per se, I would say was, I loved it. I used to have 2 pet rats, so maybe I'm a little biased seeing a little animator. I was like, this is so cute. But that was really great. And we did get, we've been taking questions on our Instagram. We did get a question about your animation. Someone was asking, what took longer to produce, the live action or the animation?
That's a great question. Yeah, so the animation definitely took longer. We actually shot the film in 1 day, which I don't recommend, but you can do it if it's necessary, right? So we, filled the whole place with the objects and everything, and really just moved super quickly for the live action section. And then for the animation, I didn't want it to feel too jarring. Like I wanted it to feel like we're still in the same world, where we could recognize the objects that we had seen in live action in the animation part. So what we actually did was we photographed all of the things that you see in the real world, and then built them. It's through compositing and After Effects to create a 3D space. And like we have photographs of the actor we worked with. And so it's all sort of built digitally and created this really beautiful atmosphere. A friend of mine is just such a talented person who always works in magical realism. That's really their specialty. And so we had that, and then the frame by frame animation. There's a little tiny bit at the end that's hand drawn, which probably took the longest of the whole film, even though it's 5 or 10 seconds worth of what we see. But
wow, well, I really love that. Honestly, I would never have guessed that the live action was done in a day. So definitely props to you on that. I'm sure it probably helped keep the budget down just a little bit, but also your stress level was probably raising the whole time. So, good job to that one. I have another question. They actually didn't say which one this was for, but this is for both period pieces. Answer. I'll start with you, Anita. What do you think was hardest about making a period piece rather than something set in present day?
It was actually, I suppose it's the cost of getting the locations, because even to have that lawn and the picnic, scene was a little bit expensive. And then the parlor scene was expensive to rent that house for the day. And then the family were there, and the kids were making a lot of noise. They had people coming and going. They had blenders going in the kitchen, and the kitchen was right next to the parlor scene, and so we had to ask them to be quiet, which I'm not good at asking people to do stuff. My daughter Nicole is much better at that. that was tricky. The other thing was like, the weather. It was really hot. You're worried about all of that. People getting, I don't know, burnt and tired and dehydrated and all that sort of thing. So, and I think actually I saw my daughter earlier, because we're just completing our next little film, and she said, Mum, the hardest thing is to have it to work on things post-production. If you can get the lighting as good as you can when you're actually filming it, you really save yourself a lot of hassle afterwards. And of course, our cameraman did the editing and all the color grading and the sound. He did everything.
Wow,
It was a tad stressful for him.
Right.
But I said, you've learned on the job. I said, when we can afford to pay other people to do things, you'll sort of know what to ask for.
Yeah,
right.
So what seemed difficult actually has turned around to be beneficial to our learning process.
Okay, well, that's beautiful. I love that. You turned it around as a learning experience. That honestly, I feel like it makes it a little bit more of an experience altogether when you have to work with elements that you're not used to or something new. Because none of us want to be stagnant with our lives. So expanding our knowledge is always great. So I also love how involved your daughter is in this. I know she drove it.
Really. She drove it. I mean, for me personally, with the hardest thing, the sewing, because we made the costumes, except for the horse rider's coat, which is from a shop called Laura Ashley in UK. Anyway, that was my daughter's coat. But the other things we made, And I wanted to make a coat for that horse rider, but I put the sleeve on the wrong way. I think when you're at like 1 o'clock in the morning, you put the sleeve on the wrong way. You just no, it's died. We need to do something else.
Right. No, I feel those little details, but still it came to fruition beautifully. So a big ups to that, honestly. Yeah, of course. So same question to you. I want to, if you have
Sure.
answer as well.
It's interesting what Anita is saying. I'll tell you, we started filming, we were on one of the first productions that we were allowed to go out. We had just, the UK was starting filming again after COVID, and it was really, it was this instant boom. All productions was happening all at the same time, and we discover we are a short film, and we discover Bridgerton is filming around about the same time that we're filming, and what became really, really challenging were to find costumes, any costumes. And to find crew. Now, I must say, I will agree with Anita. It's interesting. It's challenging when you do period. You don't have a lot of options. I'll give you that. That's what happens with the, there's a few places to go for props, a few places to go for costume. But we got in the end very lucky. We have an incredible crew, but we got very lucky that the cast we had, they were so into it that Mrs. Willis, the character like Marion Bailey was so, keen on trying to, find solutions for us that she started thinking, where was the last costume that she had been in one of Mike Leigh's, previous films in similar era, remember of a costume and so, well, let's go and find out where that costume lives now. She put us in contact with lots of different people to try and find that costume to try, and secure, with our mere budget, the costumes for, the 3 days that we were filming. So there was a lot of that, and I guess, what happened in the end, and after having looked for about, I think I looked into 50 makeup artists, I found one that was available and was not working for Bridgerton at that weekend. And, she was really into it and, joined us. And she's been the best, crew we found. So there was that. Now the filmmakers are working with her on the next one. And costume-wise, we ended up with the one costume that worked, and nobody knows, and it doesn't really, for me, it's just like it's the show is not over until it's over, so to speak. To me, it's like you push, and you find that the community will help, even though we were a short film. I think that the biggest fear we had was that we were being a bit too ambitious to try and make a period piece, a short film. We also shot it on film, so we were like, it was just a bit crazy what we wanted to do, and we felt like maybe actually we're being a bit too crazy. But I think in the end, people did kind of help, passed it on, and in the end we ended up with what we needed. So I'm very grateful for when it comes to the filmmaking community, definitely.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad the community came to back you. I think that's a really big thing that makes a film, and honestly can bring something, like I was saying, to fruition so beautifully, is when you have other people on your back, you're like, I have support, my support system is here. So to have a cast that's more than just the cast, and it makes it almost seem more like you guys are really a family and you're going through it all together. Even if it is, just a short, I think a short is just as impactful as a feature film. Realistically, whatever we're producing, whatever we're coming out with, it matters to us, so it should matter to everyone else as well.
100%. And I feel like that, that's what I also discovered, that there's so much more love for short films, that actually people really engage with stories we're trying to tell. Yeah. They're there for all the right reasons, because it's never, the budget is never really, the budget you would like to have, and you hear like a DOP who's, also editing and doing, color grade Anita's, there's real commitment. And I feel like, that is it really invigorates my faith in filmmaking, every time I make a short film, that it's just, people join together for the art of film. So yeah.
I love that. I definitely think the the art of film is the best way you could say it, because we're a collective. And especially, you know, with the Women's Film Festival, it's even more so getting all these women together, whether it be producers, directors, writers, just getting us all into a room to say, how can I support you and you support me, and have that open conversation and feel like as if it's being reciprocated is so beautiful. So I actually don't have any other questions for you guys, but I do want to say, you know, thank you again for joining us and being a part of the festival this year. We are so grateful to all of you women, and to all the women watching. Throughout the next few months, we want to continue doing screenings in person. So we're going to reach out to you again. And, you know, if we find somewhere to do the period pieces together, or to join in this animation collection that we're putting together, you know, we're really hopeful that we reach out, and you guys are excited to possibly do that as well. So again, thank you. And thank you so much for joining the live. And to everyone that's going to see this on Facebook and on YouTube, just know you can watch these ladies' wonderful films at WIFTV.com, and you can view their trailers for free, and it's going to convince you even more so. Thank you, ladies, and have a great rest of your Monday, start of your week.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I am looking forward to seeing your films.
Yes, the same.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.